Hello, everybody. We are almost 2:30 right now. And again, once again, today we will have our WMYSK online series. And today we are very glad to be hosting Tho, also another board of trustee of MyPerintis Malaysia and founder and CTO of CSP Global Technologies. So before before I officially pass the stage over to him, I would like to do a quick shout out for those of you who have joined us. Thank you so much for your time one more time. So my name is Wesley. We have Lawrence right here today. And would like to welcome all of you here to join this show here today. And a little bit favor from all of you here is that we would like to welcome all of you here to also like and share this post here so that we can benefit many more people out there in terms of today's topic on cybersecurity. So if you like and share, do also remember to also keep on a public status so that we will be able to pick some lucky winners who will stand a chance to walk away with limited edition Tun Mahathir Touch and Go card, right? So yes, as what Lauren is showing right there. And again, for those of you here, so we're going to have an afternoon tea, virtual afternoon tea with Tho. So Tho, nice to meet you here. And again, thank you so much for joining us in the show here today. Everybody say hi to Tho. Drop your comments and say hi to him. So Tho, would you want to say hi to your friends?
Hi, everyone.
All right, so...
Good friends.
Good friends. Lawrence, you want to say anything, Lawrence?
No, go ahead. I have a lot of questions after this. So you can...
So the conversation that we had with Tho just now was, hey, be prepared, we're going to ask you a lot of very random questions because cybersecurity, right? All right, so here we go. Tho, again, thank you very much for joining here today. And so before we start about those questions right here that we have, so how have you been? So is MCO making you busier or making you more free because you're talking about cybersecurity? How have you been?
Well, first thing, hi, everyone. Thanks, Dato and Wesley, my two good friends, for inviting me. I believe I'm the only key invitees to talk about cybersecurity, right?
Yes.
Wow. So to answer your question, Wesley, in fact, we started work from home before MCO announced.
Okay.
Yeah, so the benefit to all the team members. And in actual fact, our work from home days are busier than we are in office.
Can you hear?
Yeah, can hear.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Tho, in this case, I think many of our friends may not know what you do. So perhaps, can you just tell a little bit of what you do, a bit of background, what you do, and what is it in cybersecurity you involved in, Tho?
Well, sure. A lot of friends really ask me also, cybersecurity, is it, are you doing like CCTV and door access? Those are physical security, right? So a bit background of it. I'm founder for CSP Global. It's actually a distributor company. I founded this company for the past 12 years. Basically what we do is we are a technology provider and we play security consultant roles at our partners and our end customers.
Right.
So we liaise with manufacturers, which is their technology providers, and we bring the technology into Malaysia. And then what we do is actually we educate and demonstrate how these solutions be able to solve or help customers' problems against cyber attacks. So you can consider that we are subject experts and also technology experts. And besides selling, as a distributors, we also provide local full stack support such as solutions, services, including implementation, on-site replacements, preventive maintenance, or even policies, reconfiguration if customers needed to. But cybersecurity is a very wide area. In fact, we are one of the very concentrated in cybersecurity solutions in Malaysia.
Right.
That's a brief so-called introductions about CSP. And myself, I'm in the industry for almost 2 decades.
Wow.
Young.
Yeah. A question. Can you hear me, Tho?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah. Another curious question from my end. Apologies being maybe a beginner in this cybersecurity space. Now, when we talk about cybersecurity, cyber attacks, I know these are very huge buzzwords. I mean, a question from my end is that how do we define it's a cyber attack, or how do we define the space of cyber attack? Can it also be, because I don't know much about hacking, or can it be also people typing nasty things? How do you define a cyber attack as a cyber attack?
Well, the scope is very wide.
Okay.
It could be very harmful. It could be less harmful. It could be as simple as a keylogger that actually tracks what we type, and at the end, they take the same information and go to our web, our internet banking, and then do the transaction after they know our password, provided they know that our is not working, for instance. So as simple as that, and as complicated as they ransom a company, a ransom a country, to pay money, or they steal personal data, for instance. The dark web, for instance. I believe a lot of people know about dark web in the sense that they actually sell data at expensive, where they can actually make money, for instance. So the area of cyber attacks is very broad. It can be individual, or it can be corporate, or it can be country.
No, I think this is very interesting. Actually, I'm actually I'm also a beginner, but maybe I know a little bit more than Wesley because I've been working with Tho for a bit of time, and I actually learned a lot of terms, especially terminologies from him, and I've been to a few meetings. It's not as easy as we think. But Tho, I have one question. In the early days of, I'm a person that I like to read history, right? So in the old time, we fight with, in Mandarin, we call 真刀真枪 lah. We take the knife, we take the gun, and we start shooting people. But nowadays, it doesn't seem to be that way anymore. So it's more of a cyber warfare. When do you think this had started? And maybe you want to tell us a bit more about this. People no longer go to the war with their guns, but now they go with their laptops.
Well, that's very true. I always have this saying that to start a war nowadays, that you do not need guns and bombs, or you do not need to launch a missile. All you need to do is to plant a malware, and you can encrypt a country. It sounds scary, but it is. Imagine that the countries have mission critical organizations such as power plant, utilities, where a malware, for instance, can actually bring down the entire critical organization. So that's bad enough to crypto a country, where they may have a lot of army defense, but cyber defense is actually a very new thing, and it is used because you do not know when they finish it. Once they launch an attack, it's very deadly.
Right. And another follow-up question on that, and I think, hearing you say, it's interesting. Even one single malware that people plant, that there goes all your effort and all, right? To me, the only thing I know about cybersecurity is you go and just download antivirus lah. That's again the beginner. Yeah. Okay. So in front of this, I think let's say hi to our friends here watching. We have Nadia saying hi to you.
Hey, Nadia.
Patrick Ang say hi to you, and of course we have Jana Manso, continuous supporter, also here today. All right. Okay. So here's my follow-up question to you. Okay. So let's dive deeper into the context of Malaysian right now, right? So now, personally, from your side, what do you think about Malaysia's cybersecurity now?
Wow. It's a bit tricky. I'll be very careful to answer your question.
Yes, go ahead.
But to be honest, we as Malaysian, across corporates and also agencies, I felt we have pretty good exposures in terms of solutions out there. What's the latest attacks? But one thing that I felt, we have initiative and responsibility across different parties. That unlike certain countries where they actually consolidate as one single party itself. But they're doing a good job in a sense. Give an example like RMIT by Ben Negara. They have a very comprehensive guide and compliances for all financial sectors company to comply. That's to ensure our banks, insurance, companies that are able to actually guide it so that we could protect it in certain extent. That's my experience throughout our Malaysian cybersecurity right now. Of course, there are certain other agencies that play in a very key role.
I think this is a very. I've been to, like I said, I've been to a few meetings. Of course, there are certain things that we do not want to share live here, definitely. But Tho, I really want to ask this question. Right, a lot of time, companies or government, I'm sure they may have some exposure of what is the latest software, what is the latest tools that they can use. But what do you think is the reason why they are not, progressing? Is it because it's too expensive or wrong advisors? What is the key problems that people still get attacked?
So you putting me in the hot soup.
Okay.
So, like I mentioned just now, we run as a very separate initiative. So every single bodies have their own initiatives. One thing, of course, it's not because of business perspective, but I felt that our spending for cyber detection and prevention are low, and I hope that it can increase over the time. I felt that many organizations still felt security, defense, and prevent are good as spend at minimum, I would say. In my just mindset, it's just very similar to our mindset where insurance and medical is good to have, where we don't spend significant enough. So this is what my experience of it. I give an example that an organization in government and corporate, they might spend quite some money to protect their data center or their corporate network in their work, including the employees. So when they're in the office, they're well protected, right? But in today, our working environment, employees be able to work everywhere, and including right now that they can actually work from home, or they can work at a coffee house, Starbucks, and where they should connected to open networks, right? So the question here is, are they getting the same protections in open networks comparing to their corporate networks?
Correct.
So the answer is actually no in a sense. So that is where sometimes attackers may find this loophole as easy as that. Malware that do not able to penetrate through the corporate networks be able to actually penetrate to open network right now. And the next day the employees brings back the laptop or the PCs, the laptops or the Mac. Then it became a backdoor, and where the malware in a way is used through the open networks and get into the corporate. Yeah. So the spending actually is actually across all, and the intelligence of it is actually very, very crucial. So spending of cyber security right now is not only about getting a few solutions set up in a company network is actually enough, but actually it's needed more than that because we are dealing with users everywhere and data everywhere. Does it make sense?
Yeah. As a follow-up question, right? I think it's interesting on this perspective where we work from home. A lot of people, they may check their emails, connect to Wi-Fi or over open connections, like what you say. And I think many people are not aware. So my next curious question to you is, from your perspective, from your experience, Tho, right? In terms of education and awareness of the public, is it because they are not educated enough, they are not aware, or is it because people always think that I won't be the one who will kena the attack? What do you think? What do you think that is stopping people from being educated in this industry?
Well, it's a mindset. Of course, what you say is right. As I say, cyber attacks can be close to individual compared to corporate, right? So as simple as, for instance, where I send you a phishing email, that I pretend, that I'm actually a bank. I send you an email, and I ask you that you click here to change your password, for instance. But in fact, that's actually stealing your password, but it's not actually the email stuff from the bank. Now, it's the same thing as SMS that happens, right? So our government, especially in the COVID-19 MCOs period right now, honestly, our government do a very good job across the sectors of it. That's inclusive NKM, our PDRM, that they actually keep on advertise and actually inform the people that don't get scammed. In fact, scam is just small thing of it. but fraud is actually victim of it. So it has to be continuous reminders of it. And attackers is getting very smart today. They can send you an email that looks like 100% from a bank. They can even do it in the sense where on the email part they can spell it the bank email, but actually they actually hide it in a sense. So to the normal people, we will not know, as long as you will see that bank A sending me this email is actually is correct. It's genuine. But actually, in actual fact, that they are actually hiding their emails from the real emails of it.
Wow.
So it could be this, or it could be man in an attack, as simple as if you connect to open Wi-Fi. So free Wi-Fi, everyone like it. So you connect to Wi-Fi. But you might not know that it's really a true Wi-Fi or there's a man in the middle attack. I can presume that I'm a Wi-Fi provider. But at the same time, I should collect all your data.
Okay.
Yeah, so the scope is very wide. So keep on reminding people, that don't click on phishing emails. If don't go to unnecessary website, for instance. If the website asks you to install certain software, click no, don't click yes. Are very constant things that we are trying to do. So in fact, it's not only to the individual, the corporate as well. So corporate employees keep on receiving this malware, but attacks of the intention is different. It could be that the attackers may want to do some harm to the corporate, and they actually find out that who's the employee. And sometimes the attackers can be very very creative as well. For instance, that I'm a study Dr. Lawrence. He's an NGO. He likes to help public in a sense. I can craft an email that is his appetite and make him to click things.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is very, very powerful. But I'll a follow-up question on that. I actually I saw it a few times, this kind of email, but I don't have that type of. I don't really like to click on emails to deal with my things. But a follow-up on that. Those are those who receive the emails. But there are some parts, like when people log on to, like for example, because of MCO, everybody goes into Zoom now, right? People goes into Zoom. People go into different types of software for them to do meetings. And I think recently you see the news of hundreds of thousands of videos being leaked out. How come such companies as big as they are, not only Zoom, I'm sure there are a lot others as well. I think in Malaysia, telcos also got their data being hacked and being sold. Why these big corporates are still not doing enough for cybersecurity? Maybe you can tell us a bit about this space as well.
Wow. Honestly, I cannot speak on behalf of this organization, right?
Yeah.
But of course, attackers nowadays, they are quite funded to a certain extent, right? So they no longer doing for fun, for instance. Black hackers is actually so-called an industry by itself. All right, so they get funded and they get out of whatever that they have intentions of it, and that is where constantly for organization or constantly to make sure that they patch whatever holes that actually they have. It's very crucial, and all this actually needs spending of it. And moreover, if you look at this period of time, it's a global, thing. Having apps scam or websites, there's a lot of fake websites, a lot of fake apps. It's not only Malaysia problem, but it's actually a global issue. When market outlook is bad, honestly, such activities will increase.
Yeah.
And we saw that it tremendously increased in phishing emails, website, where they pretend that, you can click this map and you can get COVID-19 information, by actual fact, steal your information. So this is where this is when the time that increase these activities of it. And that is where spending is actually, not besides spending, it's actually our duty actually to remind our close one, our close friends, that be conscious into what they actually do. That is where we can do a bit. Organization, of course, they will receive more and more cyber so-called attacks in this space. So everyone actually watches quite closely, and it's true that, as I mentioned, we are busier right now than we were doing for this.
Yeah, I didn't know that this is actually an industry by itself, and they are funded somehow to do this. This is a very interesting industry that I hope that the youth will not be going into. But does that mean, though, a follow-up question, does that mean that every time when you have a hole and a virus, and then somebody patch it up, and then somebody creates a new antivirus that takes over it, and then would it means the new one will come out? Will this cycle keeps continuing until that there is a never-ending cycle?
Wow. Well, if you look away from cyber attacks, human scams are unlimited cycles of it. So it's the same thing to cyber of it. So believe over time, cyber attacks will increase. And especially we are in digital era right now. More and more things that connected online. Give a good example of ransomware. So ransomware actually came up a few years back. So what they do, actually, they lock you down and they ask you for money. Otherwise, we will wipe your data. We will not give you better data of it. So you look at that, attacks tactics have evolved over the time, and you will still evolve. And I can't imagine, one day when we have autonomous vehicle, the self-driving cars.
Yeah.
And the day that when you wanted to start your car, but they actually ask you to pay because they ransom your car. That could be happen,
Yes.
Anything, So that is where it's actually a never-ending story of it, sadly. Yeah. But that is where technologies provided is very, very crucial. And working with them, educating the market is actually what we should do. Yeah.
Right.
So you will evolve.
Wow, it sounds very interesting hearing from you, and I'm glad you share this, and I really appreciate this in terms of sharing your information and all. So that for those friends watching out there, and again, Tho, we have got somebody saying hi. We got Sobari Anis saying hi to you, Tho.
Oh, hi, Anis.
And Ron Jacob has an interesting, very long comment. Okay, I think I should hide this. If not, then we can see your face. Ron said, personally, I think Malaysians just love to click things, even though they know better. As you mentioned, the authorities have done a decent job on ensuring basic security awareness. However, the mindset of many Malaysians is just to believe anything they see on social media, follow the instructions blindly, and click on that link. Once they have clicked, they are easy prey for those scammers and hackers.
Yep.
Yeah. So in regards of this, right? Okay. So in regards of this, okay. So just like you mentioned,
I felt it's fair to comment that it's not Malaysian only, but I think it's a human mindset.
It's a global thing, right?
It's a global. It's a human mindset. We treat to do certain things.
Right.
Yeah, and the opposite sides keep on creating ideas to treat us.
Yes.
So it's sorry to say, it's not only Malaysian, but it's actually naturally human mindset. Yes.
Right. Good. And as a follow-up question to that, right? So just now you mentioned, be aware when it's open Wi-Fi and things like if they ask you to install any software, don't install. Do you have any suggestions or any advice for our friends watching out there? How else or what else can we do to protect personal self first? I mean, I'm not talking about corporate first. Personal users, personal self, in terms of being a victim of cyber attacks. What else can we do to protect ourselves?
Is to keep on remind yourself, for instance, Wi-Fi, for instance, you try to connect that you trust them. So you don't, as simple as I open up my Wi-Fi and see which one is no password, then I can grab and use it, Or as simple as we use our phone. our hotspots because it's safe. It's our,
Yes.
it's our telco, right?
Right.
Yeah. So those are reminders of it. Emails where if you see banks emails that come in and ask you to change password, there's no banks will ask you to do so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those keep on reminders that actually a self conscious is very, very important.
Okay. I just want to follow on that. So there's the perspective of an individual. What about from the perspective of for those people in the corporate setting? What can corporates do to protect themselves against cyber attacks?
In many structured organizations, they have teams, security teams, for instance, that work very closely with their HR departments
Yep.
to keep on educate their users. So the users, the employees, is just like individual, right? So the emails, the webs can be happen anywhere itself. So that is where they actually have programs to keep on reminds them itself, and to add um, several steps further. There are organizations that many organizations, in fact, have implemented solutions, for example, like data protections at the employee levels, for instance, to actually protect data from stealing out by bad guys, so forth.
Yep.
Yeah, so that is it. So for the corporate, it's very different in a sense because corporates, all they care is actually their data, which is the proprietary of it, right? So
Yep.
this is where corporates have different strategies compared to individuals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think this is very, very interesting that corporates need to. I want to follow up on this question. So, do we have enough talent to actually learn about all these things? Do we have enough talent that is managing both in the corporates or in the government? Because we hear so much about youth unemployment, youth cannot get job, but everybody study the same thing, business, marketing, I don't actually, I only got to know about this more after I met Tho. So I really have no idea. And now I know even the black market is also an industry. So Tho, do you think there is lack of talents among the young people? Do we actually have a lot of people that is having knowledge about this and actually out there at the industry?
Well, lack of security knowledge is not only about Malaysian problem. I think it's actually global problem.
Ah,
Yeah, so that's a bit sad in a sense.
mm,
That we actually need globally uh,
mm,
to create more experts, I would say,
mm,
because one thing that we actually noticed where our industry is a lot, especially youngsters, that's many of them felt is a bit boring, and that is where there's a gap between um, the new talents of it, um, and that is where bodies, those influential bodies, play a very key role on this. Now, but at the meantime, it's very important we actually engage with technology providers. So today, Malaysia, I would say, be exposed to all the top brands with the world, for the various solutions of it. And for example, like CSP, we play a part where we educate the market, and we keep on playing that as long as we available whenever that we can. We work very closely with technologies providers, right? So we keep on bringing new solutions that we felt that is able to actually to help organizations. Besides the intention to sell, but actually the intention to help organizations or friends to actually make the environment more secure. Because, like just now I mentioned, technologies and attacks keep on evolving. So what our friends they may have implemented, like 3-4 years ago, may not be enough. All right,
mm,
because
mm,
security protection is parameters, and now there's more and more exposures of cloud applications in place. For instance, where the mindset is that the data no longer in the office, it's actually in the cloud. and cloud up there, you do not know where is it.
Correct.
And protections are getting bigger, that it has to go to the cloud in a sense. And not only that, mobile devices. So it's actually one of the key areas of it, where users across industries, they actually require to work anywhere and the conveniences of it, right? So that is where protections are no longer in the office only, but it's across the parameters where as long as the users are there and data are there, it has to be protected to some extent.
So Tho, very interesting perspective. And so we have one question from our friend here called Easy. And Easy say, "Hi, Mr. Tho, I have a question for you. Okay, not too sure is this. I'm not too sure is this under the cybersecurity space. How can we find out if our house has been bugged?"
Bugged in the sense.
So Easy, would you mind to comment? I mean, would you mind to elaborate your question? Okay, so while waiting for Easy, right, I have a question. As a follow-up from what you told just now in terms of the corporates, right? Yes, I know corporates have got teams where in terms of working with their IT or the HR team, right? So it's good to know that there are companies who have these protection stuffs. Now, another angle is that probably some SMEs or micro SMEs or maybe developer SMEs, maybe cybersecurity is something they may not have looked before. So do you have any advice for emerging SMEs or even high growth SMEs? What are some practical things that they can do right now in protecting themselves from cyber attacks?
Yeah, this is a field where it's very tricky.
Yes.
Because these sectors' spending power is low, not because they don't have money, but the focus of spending is very different,
Correct.
and security is always, it may be very last resort of it. For instance, like, I may have 30 to 40 people, and I very less data. The obvious question is, what do I need to protect? I may not need to protect anything, and that's where the spending do not go to security, right? So it very depends on the industry of it. Of course, if the industry has more data proprietary, more sensitive data, the more that they need to protect.
Right.
If they have less data in a sense, they may feel that, hey, I did not need to spend.
Right.
So it's very different industry.
Right.
So when I speak, I actually was processed what has been asked just now about not being bad. So I believe the bad here, is like someone may steal your conversation.
Yes.
Well, I think that's not in the cyber.
Okay, someone has placed a spyware in your house, but you can't seem to find is it a device or anything like that? Okay.
Yeah. So that's very personal thing. Yeah. I don't treat that as more like a cyber attack in the sense.
Okay.
I mean, it's not. It's actually obviously it's illegal stuff.
Okay.
So, well, spyware. Remember, of course, you have to get hold of the verification. Now, because someone can easily install spyware on the phone.
Yes.
Or the other word is called stalkerware. It's very dangerous because stalkerware can record every conversation that you do, where you do, and what you do. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think that is a very individual kind of thing.
Okay. To me, somebody will have to install in your device, right? It's not that you click. Okay.
Yeah. But it can be, you click, but that is different level of attacks in a sense.
Oh, so it's very individual basis one. I mean, it's very individual case basis one.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Okay, so Easy, not too sure. Okay, this is a very interesting question. So in case, Easy, just in case you want to find out more, I think you can look for Tho if you're not comfortable sharing, because my ideas like that, you can reach out to Tho. I can reach out to him after this, right? Okay, so you talk about very interesting stuff about SME and things like that. Emerging companies, may not be a budget they're willing to spend on and things like that, right? Yeah, because I think a lot of people I think it's a mentality again at what you say. Yeah, I'm probably not the one. Okay, so my next question to you is that, okay, do you have any interesting stats that maybe everybody could be a potential of cyber attack? Is there any facts that any data that you have that we should know in order for us to be more educated and more informed?
Sorry, can you elaborate more?
Okay, like I'm not too sure whether is there's a data or a fact that says that across the globe how many percentage people is exposed towards certain attacks, or is it true that everybody has a chance of being attacked? So do you have a certain data or a fact that you think that we should know in order for us to be more well protected and informed?
Oh, sorry. Okay, thanks for it. So in fact, there's tons of information, analysis, informations of where the attacks comes from, what the imaging, or even to a certain extent, there are white papers are saying that how we can actually predict attack that comes in. But those are in the book itself. So a real cyber attacks could be very steep and very targeted in the sense that it don't happen in the book. Where it comes in, it kills in a sense. Yeah. But as a general guidelines, yes, the information is everywhere. And in fact, thanks to our modern digital world right now, every single new malware that actually comes in, you can easily get information from the net itself. And some of them even have steps to how to prevent, how to make for example, your browser to be more secure. As simple as Zoom, where there's a paid Zoom app, in a sense. Yeah. Yes. So those information are widely available. It's an interest of a person to read it.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So if I were to repeat what you say, it pretty much because different software, different apps have got different protection mechanism. So what you can't answer because it's so diverse. That's why you recommend us to go and explore ourselves. I think most important is that we need to don't simply kick stuff, don't simply install things, don't simply change our password. Right?
That's a very fundamental of it. Yeah. So if we are with it, we are pretty alright in a sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. As a follow-up to this, right, interesting question. So here, one question by somebody called Mingmi. Mingmi, hi. I have a question for Tho. If we personal users still need to use certain platforms like Zoom, because the government has recently banned some usage like school, something like that, right, these days, what would be the best way to protect ourselves? Any advice? Thank you.
Yeah. You keep on patch your application.
Right.
So of course, Zoom has rectified that they have a loophole on the apps itself, and over the time they have a lot of versions to patch and secure their own apps itself. So we as a users, if you want to use the apps, I believe now it's more secure because Zoom now comes with password. You have the password, you only can enter. But make sure that you keep on patch your apps. So that's also one of the very fundamental techniques to prevent that you be so-called compromised.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope that Mingni to answer your question. So keep patching is very important. Okay, first of all, I want to do a confession because I'm the person that sometimes I don't believe in patching. Okay, I think I learned something new today. Because maybe my friends always say, if you patch, make your computer slower. You patch, make your phone slower. So I'm guilty of this. Okay, so Lawrence, over to you.
Yes, I think you said something about prevention. So I think prevention is very important, and not until you. But of course, sometimes we can't prevent when we don't know what we are actually preventing or defending ourselves from, right? So, Tho, maybe you want to share with us in CSP. Do you actually do some cybersecurity health check for companies? Do you do that? And if so, usually at what would you actually advise the clients when you find out certain things?
Well, I'm very happy that we've been working so long, and remember what I say, that what you cannot see, what you cannot protect.
Correct.
Right. So so as a technology enabler, we provide services, but because our solutions we sell through our partners, and we don't sell to end users, we sell through our partners. So our partners actually do have a lot of services. For instance, as simple as pen tests, that they be able to actually do a good analysis or reports on customers, that what they have been lacking in a sense. But talking about solutions, we do have solutions that the customers can actually implement to actually see, to have the full visibility of what connected in the networks. So today, you look at it, everything connects to so-called, everything connects to networks in the sense IT, as simple as CCTV, door access, those, we call it, it's a non-IT stuff, it's called OT stuff. Everything actually connects to network sense. So the question here is what connected, and what's the hygiene of your networks? Who's the bad guy, who's not bad guy? And often what we see is it could be a very old PC, for example, Windows XP. Microsoft has announced no longer support, or there's no any new updates, are lying there for years. Yeah, so it's as easy as that, or a print server that someone has actually connected and he left the company, and it's been sitting there, and that could be the point of compromise, backdoor of it. So we do have solutions where we give companies a full visibility of what connected in the network. That's the very first thing of it. Yeah, but again, security protection is through, or detection is through parameters of it. So that could be one fundamental of it, knowing what's running in the network. Yeah, and often we can even know that whether, as simple as BYOD, bring your own devices. I think it's very, very hot topic. It's been a while, because users always demand that, I should able to use my computer, my laptop to do my work.
Correct.
So it's actually, there's no wrong, and depends on the policy of the company of it. But if you actually allow them to use, the question is, how can you protect your data through the BYOD? So there are certain solutions that the company can implement to have the abilities of the users to have their own devices at the same time that they ensure that data can
I think that is very, very, very interesting, because when I first, I think I have not worked before. I mean, I have to confess, but actually, I do have a very short employment with the Indian company previously, and their laptop is so old. And I said, "Can I use my own?" They say, "No, this is the policy of the company." At that time, I didn't understand why must we use only the company's laptop. So I guess now I will know better. But I've been working with Tho for a very long time, and I've seen a lot of crazy solutions. I mean, to those who actually, it's better to go for a bit of health check on your company, not on financial, only on financial, but also on your cybersecurity. So I think those who are really keen can go and speak to the link below at CSP Global, so that you can really get it checked up and see what are still lacked off, or what is still, outdated also. Wesley, over to you.
Yeah, so we have been having very interesting conversations as of now, and I really appreciate you to share very practical strategies in terms of protect ourselves, be it corporate, again, SMEs, like patching and all. I personally learn a lot from here. And for those of you here viewing out there, if you have any questions in regards to cybersecurity, feel free to drop your questions below, and we hope that we can address to your questions right here. And again, I just want to do a very quick shout out. And again, for those of you here, I will also appreciate you to help us to like and share, so we can benefit many, many, many more people out there in terms of the information here today, right? Okay, so let's see if we have any questions so far. We don't really have right now. And again, for those of you here who would like what you call it, a health check? What do you call it?
On your cybersecurity.
Okay, because I don't know this term. Apologies for that, right? So again, something very new and something very exciting, right? Okay, so I want to follow a question in terms of the youth kind of thing, right? Because typically people when they grow up, they want to become engineer, lawyers, they want to become doctors and all, right? So very rare people say, "I'll grow up to become a cyber scientist." I think that this is an interesting space that people can go to. Like what you say, it may be like a little bit boring stuff. What is your take on this? If let's say there are people out there who may find that this is an interesting thing, what's your advice for them? What they can take? How they can study more? What course they should take? Just like a random thing for youth out there who wants to know about this more.
Yeah. So, technology manufacturers enable. They actually have a lot of courses. Many of them actually can be learned through online, and of course, learning from online is one thing. Learning from experience on the ground is the other thing. of it.
Yes.
I think our market are pretty much needed a lot of fresh people that comes in. Of course, there's a lot of talents that are available out there, and in fact, fellow colleagues, fellow companies that actually ask our fellow friends, it's so everywhere is employing in our industry, but it looks like to employ what we want, I mean, the right talent is also a big challenge in a sense.
Right.
I believe a lot of companies do give a lot of newcomers opportunity for them to actually learn, and for a lot of youngsters out there, if you given an opportunity to work, for instance, try to learn other than, I mean, of course, the very first thing is you have to contribute to your company, but with that, you actually learn as much knowledge as possible, and the knowledge will always stay with you, all right, and then you can be a better person in the future, more knowledgeable person. And nothing is more important into what you'll be exposed.
Right. Yeah. That's a very good advice again to explore. I mean, just curious, right? Tho, did you study this course back then?
Well, I'm a comp science student, so
Oh,
back the 90s of it. So my fundamental of it as a comp science is more towards the programming. And my experience of IT is way before even IT came out. So at the time we call it SNA, where the IBM mainframe systems and so on.
yes.
Yeah, and that is where technologies evolve until today. And being an engineer, I started my career as an engineer. So I'm one of the Cisco certified engineers of it. And I found that security is actually a very ongoing topic. And that's where I changed myself from a network engineer to security engineer. And it's keep on evolve until today. So one of the most interesting area in IT.
Yeah, I like I said again, Tho is one of the few that I know that is he's very no, he's practical. I think it's important. He's a very practical, very on the ground friend that I know. But I just want to ask you, Tho, if those people who has no experience, I mean, as in com science, may not have this kind of people like me. I'm in biotech, right? So they may have already finished their tertiary education, but they may want to jump into this so-called industry, right? So do you think they still can, or it's already too late for them?
No, it's never too late. In fact, a good percentage of my team members in my company, they are not computer background. I mean, they're not IT background.
Okay.
Yeah, so I believe as long as you have the drive and you have the passion, you can do any industry. So because I felt there's no one born to one industry itself unless you have a gifted talent that you can do something supernatural inside. Otherwise, it's all down to the drive, the passions, the objective and the visions that you want to.
Right. Yeah, and thank you very much for that. I think this advice comes very timely because a huge group of people they are waiting to go to university or college right now may find it very helpful when you share again is about finding your drive, be it whatever that you learn. I think it's interesting that all three of us here study a certain thing and we all do certain stuff. I was a chemical engineer. Okay, don't ask me what happened. Okay, so I really want to thank you for your time. Tho, do you have any last words of encouragement, any last words of advice to our viewers watching out there now?
Well, I think today we speak quite lengthy. Of course, now we globally, not only in Malaysia, we are in situations where health and safety is actually the most important. So I wish everyone to take care of yourself and your family. So this is, and stay safe. So this is the most important right now.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much again one more time. And for those of you who's watching this right now, I want to say thank you for your time. And again, I want to invite all of you here to like and share this post so that we can benefit many more people out there. And again, you will stand a chance to walk away with the limited edition Tho Mahathir Touch and Go card. Right. So again, one more time, thank you very much, Tho, for your precious time. And again, I want to do a very quick shout out as well in support of the frontliners and deserving family members. And even today, Lawrence, I saw your Instagram that you were in a police station today.
Not today, a few days ago.
Oh, days ago, right? Okay, good. And again, so we have this MyPerintis care for the support of the frontliners. So for those of you here, I would like to invite all of you here to just play a little bit of your part to help the frontliners in support of the current COVID-19 right now. And again, we do have a lot of information here, upcoming exciting events. For those of you here who would like to be part of this Telegram channel, we would like to welcome you to join us at this channel, t.me/MyPerintis. Okay, one more time, thank you so much for your time, Tho, for your precious time. And Lawrence, you want to say anything?
Yes, again, thank you so much, Tho. I actually, like I said, I've known him for quite a number of years. And for the youths out there, don't just be a bit stuck with, getting jobs around, business, marketing. There's so many more other industries that you can explore. I think one of it is cybersecurity, because Tho constantly calls me to tell me that he is lack of talent and he needs more people in his team. And I think this is something youth should look into, and the youths can be part of and to learn something different compared to other conventional jobs. Other than that, thank you so much again, Tho, for spending your afternoon with us. I really appreciate your afternoon.
Yeah.
All right, so Tho, before we let you go, we have a tradition of taking a group picture virtually. So what we're going to do is that we're going to look at the camera and give us a love sign, and then I will take a snapshot over from my side. Okay, so ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you very much, Tho. Thank you for your time. For those of you watching, thank you so much for your time, and I will see you again tomorrow. And for those of you here, stay safe, stay at home. Until then, from us, from MyPerintis, signing off. Bye-bye.
Bye.